News Talk 102.3, 1240 on the AM side. We'll go to the phone line real quick.
And we would like to welcome back Paul Siegert. He is the managing partner for PCS Advisers. This is an employee health care benefits consulting firm, and they're based in Northern California. And this morning we're going to talk a little bit about how hospitals need to be telling us how much what the prices are for certain procedures. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So, is there a new regulation that requires hospitals to post prices for shoppable services?
There is. It's an interesting story. It was actually part of the original Affordable Care Act, one of the few good parts, in my opinion, that required hospitals to publish their pricing on 300 common procedures. And the hospitals systems around the country essentially tied it up in the courts for 11 years, and it finally got enforced or enacted January 1 of this year. What we've seen since is that the majority of hospitals have simply chosen not to comply, and really because they don't want to be subject to this kind of free market shopping that could occur, where people would actually know in advance what they're going to be charged for a service. And they don't want folks to be able to shop it from one hospital to another.
I really think people would like to know how much they're being charged. And
yeah.
Was there a penalty involved for not disclosing this information?
Yeah, and I think that's really why, kind of one of the laughable parts of this story, when they enacted this rule January 1, the fine was $300 a day for non-compliance, which is really, in the course of a year, a little over $100,000. That's a rounding error to the accounting for most hospitals. I mean, it's not a significant number especially to larger hospital systems where, we're talking about billion-dollar balance sheets. It's not much. There really isn't any teeth in the rule at that $100,000 fine. So there's some discussion right now in the Biden administration of increasing that to as high as $2 million for noncompliance.
And what are some of the procedures that it says 300 different procedures? What are a few of those?
Well, so let's say you needed a total knee replacement, or you needed a heart surgery, those kinds of things you would find on this list. And what's pretty interesting about this is that it's revealed that for those that have complied, which is really only about 20% that have truly complied with this rule so far, what we're finding is that the average hospital has more than 150 prices for every procedure they perform. And this is what they were, I think, trying not to have to disclose, was that you've got literally over 150 prices for a given procedure. So you could have 150 people walk into that same facility to get the same procedure and get charged a different amount depending on the health plan that they're in. So it's pretty wild.
And so I guess they've got a price for indigent and a price for people that have Blue Cross, or a price, it just depends, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. And each of these insurers negotiate contracts with these facilities, with each facility. Typically they'll negotiate a contract that will last for a couple of years. And here's how extreme it can be. I was looking at a particular facility that we have. One of our clients has employees that go to this facility, and a heart procedure at this hospital that was needed would be anywhere between, depending on the health plan that you have and the insurance product that you have, it would be billed at anywhere between $80,000 and $540,000. So it could be $80,000, or it could be $540,000, depending on the health plan that you have. So it's a very wide range, oftentimes, and it can be as much as a tenfold increase from one health plan to another. And that's the real challenge with this whole situation that we have today in American healthcare and the way that we pay for it. We have great healthcare. The way we pay for it is really needs some cleaning up. I mean, we need to have the ability to consume like we do everything else. We need this part of this, what's become this huge part of our economy they need to be subject to free market forces. We need some capitalism to be happening and free market activity going on. But when you don't know what things cost, how do you shop?
It boggles my mind that all of these hospitals can get away with this.
It really is incredible. When you look at what's happened in the last 11 years since the Affordable Care Act kicked in, there's only two real clear winners that I see, and those are big insurers and large hospital systems. And not all hospitals have been affected the same way. I mean, you have the smaller rural hospitals that are struggling. We're losing them. But the large hospital systems have done really, really well in this environment. And we've essentially, because of all the lobbying power around healthcare, or the way that we pay for healthcare insurance, we've allowed this industry to pretty much regulate itself, or kind of lobby to get rules that are very favorable at the very least.
And did you say that the suggestion is to raise the penalty to $2 million a year?
Yeah, that is. And then the question becomes, will that work? I mean, is that enough? You know, when you look at, I was looking at a hospital, the accounting of a hospital in Northern California, but you could find this just about anywhere that you have a larger hospital, a decent sized hospital. And it was, in this particular case, they ran this facility on $750 million all in cost, and they billed out over $11 billion. Now they don't get all charged dollars in house. I certainly acknowledge that. They're not going to get all those 11 billion billed dollars in, but they're going to get way more than 750 million. And then you have to ask yourself, is $2 million enough?
Yeah.
And it may or may not be. You know, for some of these larger systems, that too could be a rounding error. And so will it create the incentive to comply? I don't know. And then the other issue that we face really is that this is a step in the right direction, getting transparency around what these procedures cost and what the various pricing is that each facility has. But then you're still subject, if you have an insurance plan, you're really subject to whatever that, of those 150 different prices for that procedure that you're going to get, you're still subject to whatever the price is that your insurer agreed upon with the facility. It's not as if you could just simply say, you know, you've got 150 prices. I see that you do this heart procedure at $80,000. I see you also do it at $540. I'd like to get it for $80. It's really, unfortunately, it won't be that simple, because your insurance company is already going to have negotiated a price that they're willing to pay, and that's what your plan is going to pay. And then you're just going to be, you know, sitting there paying whatever your out-of-pocket costs are in your health plan. But I still am very much in favor of this move towards transparency, because that's really what we need to get into the whole healthcare system, is transparency, so that we can work toward a world where you could negotiate and you could price shop and be a smart consumer like you are for everything else.
Well, thank you, Paul Siegert, managing partner for PCS Advisers, an employee healthcare benefits consulting firm. Thank you for shining a light on this issue. We appreciate you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Have a great day.
You bet.